Welcome to the Wendell and Vicky Soccer Complex here tonight at the Bell in Lexington. It's the second round of the NCAA tournament with your Kentucky Wildcats facing the Santa Clara Broncos. I'm Peyton Atkins here with you tonight. Let's take a look at the Kentucky Wildcats lineup for this match tonight. Here you see Jan Hoffner in goal with the typical back line. You got Visconti, Grasso, Rodriguez, and Screen there in the back. And then you see Rouse and Meinzer, the two captains in the midfield, and then Bjorgulfsson alongside of Luke Andrews up top for the Wildcats. And let's take a look at Santa Clara. There you see the goalkeeper, Stauffer. In the back line, Alejandro Perez. You can see Javier Ruiz Duran. He got first team all WCC this season. He's going to be an attacking threat for Santa Clara tonight. A lot to play for. We talked about it in the open. It's either win or go home for both of these teams. There you see Luke Andrews set to go for the Wildcats.
In the home white, Santa Clara in the road maroon. And I believe the temperature is right about 47 degrees. It was raining when I took the dog out this morning before church, and it has not stopped raining in Lexington all day. If you saw our shots in the open, this field has been covered. It has been squeegeed. It has been broomed off. But certainly, Peyton, I would think that footing and how the ball reacts on this turf are going to be a factor tonight.
Yeah, it still looks like the ball's moving pretty quickly, so that's definitely going to be a factor for both goalkeepers. See, the offense is going to want to get some shots off early and test the keeper.
So Santa Clara, as we mentioned, they get into the field and they have to travel to Akron, where they upset the Zips by a count of 2-1. And so they win 2-1. Akron up just south of Cleveland. So then the Broncos, after that win over the Zips, after flying from near San Francisco, where Santa Clara is, I guess they did fly out of San Francisco. They then got on a bus, and about a 5-hour bus ride from Akron here. They got in Friday evening, so that allowed them to train yesterday and then get ready to go today. Wildcats, as we mentioned, at full strength for one of the few times this season, but Peyton, we've talked about it a lot, and the depth on this team has really been a godsend for them.
Yeah, you can just see how impressive their record is. One loss this entire season, and they've had so many players out. But like you said, the depth, they've been having different players able to come in and bring some value, especially on the front line. Seen Luke Andrews make a name for himself this season. You got Bjorgulfsson back up top for the Wildcats. Danny Evans has been out a little bit with injuries, but he's back and he's scored some great goals for the Wildcats as well.
There you saw Andrews battling on the side, and he keeps possession. And Mason Visconti with a throw-in. Most importantly, though, the Wildcats in this season with a 14-1-4 record, they are unbeaten here at the Bell during this season, and that's why home pitch advantage is so important when you get into the NCAA tournament. As Meinzer boots it ahead. And now the aforementioned Bjorgulfsson. He missed, I want to say it was right at 3 weeks or thereabouts. And that ball not controlled, loose in front. Meinzer thought about winding up on it. Here's a pitch to the far side. That'll be the first corner of the night for the Wildcats. That was a nice play by Nick Gutman.
And there's the ball across by Bjorgulfsson. A great save by Stauffer. See, Meinzer goes out to screen. That was good deception to hit it first time out to Gutman, and he gets it out of bounds for a Wildcat corner here. Like we talked about, those wet conditions, anything can happen on these plays. This is a crucial moment for both sides.
Ruben Stauffer, the keeper. It'll be the corner from the far side, and that's headed right in. Who got that? Was that Rodriguez?
Looks like Rodriguez. That was a great header.
Luca Rodriguez has proven to be oh so good in the latter half of the season on set pieces.
There's a left-footed corner, and what a header.
And look how far Rodriguez was. He was checked. And that's the thing on a night like this. Here's the boot from Visconti. And Rodriguez just flipped it, and it found the far corner. And less than 5 minutes in, the Wildcats.
Galera, não tinha nem começado ainda, tava deixando a partida começar e já teve gol do Luca, o brasileiro que eu ia mencionar, sendo o único brasileiro na partida. O Luca é zagueiro da Kentucky. A Kentucky é atualmente a segunda melhor defesa do país, então o Luca já tem um mérito por isso. Ele jogou todas as partidas como titular na defesa e com 4 minutos aí de jogo ele já abriu o placar com esse golaço de cabeça. Então, só mandar um alô aí para a família do Luca que deva estar assistindo. Enfim, já começamos bem a partida. E lembrando que esse é um jogo também mata-mata da segunda fase dos Nationals, então quem ganhar classifica. Então já começamos bem a partida, 1-0 Kentucky, gol do Luca, muito bom.
And I believe that was also Rodriguez, his 4th goal off a corner kick.
All 4 of his goals this year, I believe, have come off corners. Because as a defender, that would typically be the only time he would be up to play in the offensive end. Meinzer got to it first, and then he was fouled. Juan O'Neal guilty of that foul. And the Kentucky coaches in their scout had kind of given a heads up to their guys, like, listen, NCAA tournament, a lot of these tournament games are decided by set pieces. And they cautioned that UK would have to be great on defense as far as set pieces.
And it was also talked about the importance of transition for the Wildcats. Santa Clara can play at times with 5 in the back, and in transition they can be caught with only having 3 back there. So if the Wildcats can be quick in transition and get their wingers
right
in the attack, they can have numbers going forward.
Ball booted out of bounds, and nice energy from Kentucky. Here's the thing again, and you never know about travel and things like that, but again, you had Santa Clara that had to come all the way from San Francisco. They had a hard-fought match on Thursday night, and then they travel here and only 1 game to prepare for the higher-seeded Wildcats. And still, ton of time left. But it couldn't be a better start for the Wildcats. And the pressure from Bjorgelsen leads to Barajas booting it out of bounds.
And this is what you want from the Wildcats. They're up 1-0, but they have not taken their foot off the gas. Here's Gutman again.
There you see the score 7 minutes in. Clemson and Denver scoreless. This first full weekend of the NCAA Men's Soccer Championship. Wildcats coming off Great tournament run to take the title in Conference USA. Nice run. Nice run by the Wildcats, and that went out of bounds. Luca Rodriguez off the header from Mason Visconti. 4 minutes and 10 seconds in. And that's the difference as the Wildcats lead 1-0. That ball deflected out of bounds, and that'll be another corner. And there you take a look at Cameron Rast in his 20th season as Santa Clara coach. His assistant, his top assistant, Eric Yamamoto, is in his 30th season as a Santa Clara assistant, and both Rast and Yamamoto played on the 1989 team, which was Santa Clara's only national championship squad. So here we go again. Visconti went right at Rodriguez again, and it just got over top of his head. That ball banged in there.
I like the decision by Screen to hit that, because in these wet conditions, it's likely to get a deflection. You can see the Wildcats got another corner kick off that opportunity.
Once again, third of the night, Visconti and Rodriguez right in that same place. They go to the back post this time, and did they get another one? Yes, they did! And that looks like Marcel Meitzer. 3 corner kicks, 2 goals, and the Wildcats lead it 2-0.
And credit to Visconti on the deliveries of these corner kicks. He's picking out players, and they're doing a great job just redirecting those kicks into the back of the net.
And Meitzer was marked there by Baraha.
Tá lá, mais um 2-0 Kentucky. Dessa vez não foi do Luca, ele estava ali no meio da área, a bola veio no segundo pau. E só lembrando também, galera, soltei aqui o comentário que botaram, a gente agora tá bloqueando os comentários só para quem tá inscrito no canal, para evitar aqueles americanos, site de aposta que chega aqui e fica bagunçando. Então, pra gente poder conversar realmente sobre o jogo, sobre os brasileiros, no caso, o Luca, eu bloqueei. Então, se inscreve aqui no canal que libera a função de comentário, beleza? Para quem não tá acostumado também com o relógio ali, ele tá marcando 34 minutos, 35 minutos, só que o relógio é decrescente, então tem só 10 minutos de partida, já tá 2-0 para Kentucky, chovendo, então provavelmente vai ser aquele jogo mais truncado, então ter essa vantagem no início da partida é excelente para Kentucky. E aí no mais eu volto pra gente comentar. Só lembra de se inscrever aqui e também curtir para aparecer para mais gente poder acompanhar o futebol do Luca, beleza?
Screen has played so well all season long. You just don't see him making a pass like that. But fortunately, as you said, it did not come back to bite the Wildcats. There's a nice step in, and Kentucky has just been quicker of foot, at least in this first 11 or so minutes. Check that, 15 minutes. In the NCAA, they run the clock backwards, which I don't understand. And for those of us who new math is a challenge for, that's a challenge for when you're trying to figure it out. Good crowd here despite the rain. And I dare say this, but they had said that the rain was supposed to stop about 7:45. And it looks like it stopped. But despite that, a good crowd here. I think I see Cal over to my right. Is that Cal? That is Cal. If it's not Cal, it's like Cal stunt double.
I can't tell. It does look like him, though.
It does look like him. I saw Dr. Capilouto, the UK president, here earlier. Mitch Barnhart, the AD, I know is not here, but I'm sure he's watching on the stream because he's a member of the college football playoff committee. And they are in Dallas, where they always get together on Sunday night, and then they have a full day of meetings. I guess they meet on Monday and then Tuesday.
It's a great ball by Bjorgolfsson. Trying to find Gutman. But Osei was there on defense for Santa Clara.
I do not see him down here. I don't know. We'll have to check. He may or may not be here. I'm not sure. Mitch Barnhart. But if he's here, he's heading out first thing in the morning. There's the Wildcats tournament appearance sheet, their resume. 12 tournaments, 8 of the last 10, 1 Sweet 16, and 1 Elite 8. And they have played well enough this year. But you know what? Anything can happen. I mean, I don't think, they've played the defending national champ. They've played all kinds of folks. In the top 10, they played number 25, number 5, number 20, number 25. They beat the 5th, 1st, and 6th seed in the conference tournament. And so they have put together a schedule. And I mean, Peyton, we seemingly went sometimes it seemed like a week or more, and we might not see 2 Wildcat goals at one point during the season. And then 2 really quick ones here in the first half.
I was thinking the same thing, and I think they've gotten their confidence up with scoring starting in that conference tournament. I mean, they won their first game 3-1. I think they won the next game 3-0. They got quite a few goals under their belt. I think building their confidence on that and getting 2 early ones tonight as well.
And so the Wildcats now, certainly no reason for them to take that defensive pressure very high, right? How about that takeaway by Meinzer?
But I think when you have this good of a start as a defender, these games are almost harder because it's so much more important that you do not have a lapse in concentration.
And the Wildcats have got a 2-0 lead, but Johan Sedergren down there letting somebody know he is not pleased with what they are doing. And doing so for him in a very demonstrable fashion.
Great ball by Visconti, right to the chest of Bjorgolfsson.
Here's Rouse, now screen. Visconti's got it on his left foot again, going to the back post. Two headers off corner kicks within 10 minutes. Luca Rodriguez with the first. Marcel Meinzer with the second. Mason Visconti with both of the assists with his left foot. The Wildcats lead Santa Clara 2-0.
That's great defending by Maurice. He was very patient and picked his moment when he was going to tackle there. He ended up drawing a foul.
Boy, this has been, at least to this point, a dominating performance by the Wildcats. But again, we're not even to the midway point of the first half. Jorgelson won it in the air. Boy, was just able to power through. He's got some company. Gutman tackled off the play nicely, but he stays with it. Boy, somebody is open right in front of the net. Rouse with a nice tackle. That's Maurice. And now the Wildcats will pull it back out and set it up again. All loose in front one more time. Meinzer. That was deflected, and that'll be another corner. Pleased to welcome into the booth right now Ame Mabika. As we take a look at this replay.
Let's look at the ball by Visconti. Goes to Meinzer. Cuts it back on his right foot and takes a shot. And deflected for another corner kick for the Wildcats, but this time it'll be screened.
Ame, a first-round pick in the MLS, number 26 overall. In Ame, this is the fourth corner, and already your guys have gotten 2 goals off those corners.
Yeah, I mean,
boy, that ball was punched out. And Maurice had a good look at the near post, and he pushed it just wide.
We talked about it before. You see the punch out. Maurice hits it first time, which is a great idea during these wet conditions.
yeah, I mean, that's just a big staple of Kentucky soccer teams in terms of being good on set pieces. It's something that they work on very consistently, and the biggest thing is the delivery has been very important for them. 2 good balls, 2 goals.
So, Ame, you were a part of the 2018 team that went to that Elite Eight. We've seen a lot of similarities with this team, and I know you played with a lot of them, but what similarities do you see, or maybe some differences between the 2 teams?
I think right away the thing that jumps out is the defensive prowess of the team. I think Johan likes to build his team from the back up, and when you look at Jan and Luis and Luca and Screeny and Mason, you're looking at, I think, one of the best goalkeepers and backlines in the country, and the numbers back that up for them. So there's games where maybe you don't play your best, but the back line and the goalkeeper keeps you in the game, and that's happened quite a few times this season. And I think for us in 18, that happened for us, especially early in the season, where maybe we weren't gelling quite yet, but we're able to stay in games through just being a defensively solid team. And I think you see that with this team. And it looks like there's a real togetherness with this team, and just it's a special thing when a team just looks like they're never going to lose. They never look like they're going to lose, and this team has that same thing that we had in 2018.
And man, that's saying a lot, because when you were back there, you guys didn't give up a lot of goals at all.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, I go back to I guess we could call it the Kentucky way. That's
right.
The biggest thing. I know Johan said it earlier this week, where he said if you don't give up goals, it's hard to lose. So that's clean sheets. That's something that Kentucky takes a lot of pride in.
Sure.
And they've gotten a lot of clean sheets this year. I think it was 15 that the 2018 team got this year. This team, depending on how deep of a run they go on, have a shot to break that, and hopefully they do.
I don't know how much you've gotten to see, but obviously they really missed Aitor
Yeah.
while he was out, a dynamic scorer up top. And they really did not have a dynamic score off set pieces the way you were, except now Luca has kind of developed into that here late in the season.
Yeah, Luca and Luis Grasso as well. Seems that they attack the ball really well on set pieces. It seems like they know they have a set plan and they just kind of stick to it. So when you can consistently score off set pieces, you always give yourself a chance in the game.
So Bjorgelsen and Andrews come out. In comes Brock Lindau, 6'2" senior from Toronto. And number 7, Danny Evans, the senior from the Colony, Texas. Here's Lindau with his first touch. And they go to the back post. That's going to be another Wildcat corner.
That's Danny Evans' first touch of the game. Seems to be a scheduled substitute right around the 25th mark.
Here's the replay. Like you said, Evans' first cross of the game. It's deflected out for another Wildcat corner.
Yeah, he's got that fresh dew working too. A very different look for him.
NCAA look.
All right, so Screen will take it with the right foot. Again, you've got Rodriguez on the back post. That is beyond the back post, but it's still loose in front. But they couldn't get it on frame.
Here's a look. Screen goes to the back post. Saw Grasso trying to redirect it across the 6, and I think Evans just tapped it out.
But, I mean, if Grasso doesn't do that, I mean, that's a shot right in front. And unless Grasso stays with it and boots it back on frame, Evans doesn't have that chance.
So is there anyone you have been particularly impressed with this season, whether it's someone you've played with or maybe not?
Yeah, I think Mason Visconti, he's off to a great start this game. He's practically playing a perfect game with 2 assists, 2 great deliveries. And, you know, when I played with him, he wasn't playing the position he's playing now at fullback. And he seemed to embrace that role and done really, really well. And he looks really confident. And I really enjoyed watching him play along with several other guys. But I think Mason Visconti definitely, he's surprised a lot of people this year. It's been a very good season for him in a new position and a new role, which is never an easy thing to do.
So that ball flicked out of bounds by the Wildcats. And so this will be Santa Clara's first opportunity at a corner. Javier Ruiz Duran takes it. And the Wildcats not able to clear yet. And now they do. And that may have been Visconti who came from the backside to boot it out of there. But right now, the Broncos still without a shot. Visconti, the senior from Kansas City, Missouri. If they can win this game tonight, what a big game the next one would be for him as he's a Clemson transfer.
Speaking of transfers, I think Kentucky's used I guess we can call it the transfer portal to its advantage.
Really have.
Along with a couple other teams on campus, I think there's the ability, you know, for guys to come in and gel right away has been very impressive. You know, with Luca and Hoffner and Luke Andrews to come in and, you know, start and do so well together has been a big advantage for Kentucky.
Sure.
You know, along with transfers comes experience as well.
Well, and nothing against any freshman, Ame, but that ball loose in front. But when you go into that transfer portal, as a coach, you have an ability to see what a guy can do at this level.
Correct.
And so you've got more of a proven product rather than looking for the upside. Here's Screen in the box. And that ball tackled away nicely. That was Barajas who took it from him.
That's a very good point, but because Kentucky has a set way of playing. So like you said, when you're recruiting, you don't just go and get the best player. You go and get players that are going to fit your system. And you've seen it with Jan and his calmness, and look, like you said, on set pieces, the coaches would look, okay, is a defender going to be good on set pieces? And I think they fit perfectly like a puzzle, and that's by design. That's not by luck of the draw. It's been guys that they looked at and say, okay, how will he fit next to him? How will he fit next to him? And it's worked together very organically. And as the season's gone on, it's really a perfect fit. The transfers that they've been able to get.
I mean, you may have to be a salesman to get a dynamic scorer to come here, but you certainly don't have to be some talent guru. That talent shows itself. But when you're talking about the back line in Johann's system, like you said, who's going to fit and be a great puzzle piece, that's a little more difficult.
Exactly.
Visconti couldn't control that.
This last 13 minutes or so will be really important for both teams. For Kentucky, started the game really well, controlled the half, got a lot of first contact on set pieces, and Santa Clara haven't been able to get a shot on target. So for them, it'll be really important to go into the half with something, because right now the team talk at halftime could look a lot different if they're able to get a goal. And for Kentucky, 2-0, and you're feeling a lot better about this game at halftime. So it's just about finishing strong. And if they do that, then they put themselves in a great position for the last 45 minutes.
We have talked a lot about the fact that Santa Clara does not have a shot yet. As that ball was punched out by the keeper, boy, there was big contact there between Stauffer and Lindau. And so, we've talked about that, but Kentucky, except for the corners, I don't think they've got a shot yet.
Right.
I think it's important to note that Santa Clara came from behind and ended up winning in double overtime in their last game, so they're perfectly capable of coming back.
And listen, I know it gets, cool and kind of foggy out there in San Francisco, but I mean, these Cali guys, this is not a great weather night at all. As we said, just looking up in the lights, looks like the rain is just misting. They say it's 48, but it feels like 44. And that wind now is coming out of the west at 8. And that ball is to the back post. I'm not sure whether Visconti got a foot on it or not. He did not.
Here's a look at the cross. I couldn't tell if he got a foot on that either, but
Ref said no. So Kentucky substitutions, Cameron Wheeler, 28, graduate from Louisville, checks in. There you see Maurice and Gutman go out. And Clay Holstad also checked in, a senior from Birmingham, Alabama.
Really like that substitute with Clay Holstad, someone who's reliable defensively, as you can see here, working hard. Done. Some to close the half out. Maybe you don't need to score here, but at 2-0, like I said, you're very happy and a lot of energy.
Here's Holstad, and on the rebound, wow! Oh my goodness, I believe that was Lindau that was right in front.
And that's another sub first touch of the game who's made a big impact in Clay Holstad right away, winning the ball and then getting a shot on target, which is a huge testament to the depth of this team.
Sure.
Peyton, you asked me the similarities between this team and 18 or some differences. I would say this team, in 18, maybe we had a set lineup, but I think with this team throughout the season, you've seen plenty of different lineups, and it's been week by week, whoever is training the best has played the most. So you see guys hungry. You see Danny Evans come on. He wants to prove a point. Clay, he wants to prove a point. Guys want to stay on the field, and it's a huge plus for a coach when you have those tough decisions, because you're going to get the best out of your players because they want to be on the field, so they know they have to perform at a very high level.
Right, and I think it creates an even more competitive training environment, I'm sure.
Exactly.
I know we talked to Johan even before the season started, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, I think he said 12 players were competing for 3 spots.
Right, up
before
top.
the season even started, so.
And sometimes it makes that difficult decision that you were talking about, May, a little bit easier.
Exactly.
Because you just go with who's got the hot hand, like you said. Back come the Wildcats. As you see, we're under 10 minutes to play in the first period. All the scoring in this one coming in the first 10 minutes. Luca Rodriguez and then Marcel Meinzer both scoring off corner kicks off the leg of Mason Visconti. And there you see the takeaway there as Olida Thomas. And right back, the Cats get it back. There's Rodriguez. He's having a big night.
Great defending.
Wheeler now with Lindau and Evans in front of him. Holstad on the far side. He had it taken away. Lopez Perez.
Those are the moments that are going to be very important for both teams. Santa Clara is going to sit in and look to beat Kentucky on the counter. If Kentucky can get numbers behind the ball, they'll feel good about their chances of preventing shots on target. And for Santa Clara, they have to be very ruthless with those chances because they might get only 2-3 per half where they can counter. And they had 2 in the last couple minutes, and they still haven't been able to get a shot off.
I think a team with a lead like this, like Kentucky, May, it's more difficult to play in a situation like this than any other because you don't want to overextend yourself because you're still attacking, but yet you just don't want to get totally passive.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing with scoring early, right? It's a good confidence booster, but then maybe you start playing safe, like you said, and maybe you get away from the things that you want to do, and maybe you sit in a little bit.
Boy, Hoffler not happy with somebody there being out of position. I don't know who it was, but watch him if we let this go a little bit. I mean, he's immediately barking at somebody. Looks like he's conducting an orchestra.
And that's what you're going to get from a fifth-year senior. He doesn't like getting scored on. So anything that looks like it might cost him a goal, he's gonna do everything to make sure it doesn't happen again. And he's been amazing all season.
Now he's loosened up his back. I hope he didn't pull his back while he was conducting the orchestra. 28, Aaron Sandhu checks in. As you see, Hoffler with those 11 shutouts this year. Conference USA Keeper of the Year.
When a goalkeeper has a back line as good as Kentucky, the most important thing is the concentration, because you might go the whole game where you're not having to do much, but then there comes a situation where if you're not switched on, you end up getting scored on because you almost get lost in the game. And I think for him, he's done a great job with communication. It helps him stay in the game, and the calmness he does bring to the team on crosses and his ability to use the ball with his feet has been huge for Kentucky. It is when you have a good goalkeeper as a defender,
right?
You feel a certain sense of confidence, because okay, maybe if I do make a mistake, okay, he's going to be there to back me up.
Sure.
And he's giving you a lot of information as well. From the top up, I think it's been really important for their success.
We're obviously up here, May. I mean, how much communication was there to you all who were playing defense from your keeper, and how important is that?
Yeah, it's constant. It's constant because the field can be divided into thirds, right? So if the keeper is in the very back, he sees the whole field, just like we can see the whole field, and we're up here commentating. It's easy for us.
Sure.
Right? Because we can see everything. The keeper is the closest one on the field that we can say, okay, he can see the whole field. So he's talking to the defenders, telling them, directing them, and then the defenders are talking to the midfielders, and the midfielders are talking to the forwards. and making sure, if we step together, and that starts with the keeper and then onto the midfielders and onto the forwards, and it makes it so much easier. I think that piece, the communication piece, makes everything so much easier because you're never second guessing yourself, because if you're getting information from a keeper, you know that he can see the whole field, and that helps a lot.
Santa Clara trying to attack back as they look to switch the field. Screen puts a stop to it. And now that ball just went out of bounds. What a great effort by Holstead.
And notice on those transition moments, it looks like something Kentucky has worked on all week. In the transition moments, you can see how fast they all get back behind the ball. Because if Santa Clara is going to score, I think it's going to be on a transition moment.
5 minutes to go in this first half of play that has been absolutely dominated by the Wildcats.
Kentucky doing a great job being patient on defense as well. They're standing up their marks, waiting for their time to tackle, and actually drawing fouls in a lot of cases like you just saw right there.
Visconti looking to create. The ball was taken away from Wheeler. Rouse might have gotten away with one from the back. Nice touch, Holstad. Really pretty ball from Lindow. Here's Wheeler. Oh, and right in front, that ball was deflected. And I believe that was a streaking Danny Evans who had a shot at it. And despite the comfortable lead, Kentucky's still challenging every ball. You see guys hustling to keep balls in the field of play. I mean, the intensity is absolutely still there the way it should be.
How good is Mason been?
Watch this. Oh, what a pretty feed.
Wow.
Wow, he just made that so effortlessly. I mean, just watch this touch.
Great ball across. You saw Lindow trying to just flick it on target.
And that's what you get, when you convert an attacking player to a defender. You see Visconti's comfortable on the ball. He's comfortable dribbling into the attacking third from the back. And, he creates that goal really by himself. I think he picked the ball up at midfield and was able to dribble into the 18 and create a chance. He's having a lot of joy on this side.
And you were talking about how well he's playing, and then he makes his best pass maybe of the season. I mean,
exactly.
It was just a great delivery, a ball that was easy to handle, and they just couldn't finish. Coming down to the final couple of minutes of period number one.
And so at halftime, May, what do you think Johan is going to tell the guys as they come out into the second half of the 2-0, hopefully, lead with 2 minutes to go?
Yeah, I think the important thing is to keep, on transition moments. Like I keep harping on it because, like I said, if Santa Clara is going to score, it's going to be on a transition moment. And at 2-0 in an NCAA single elimination game, they are going to have to open up eventually. So for Kentucky here, it's just making sure they don't make any mistakes to start the half, and attacking opportunities will open up as long as it stays 2-0, because Santa Clara will have to get a little bit desperate to push a little bit more numbers forward. And as we've seen all season, Kentucky as well, a very good transition team. And for Santa Clara, they have an opportunity here.
Ball is turned and fired wide. The other thing, take a look at this replay, is maybe the best penetration Santa Clara has gotten all night.
There you see it was Reese Duran on the shot there. That went wide.
And it could actually be a situation where if it stays like this, it allows Johan to get some more people some action. Maybe not critical, but it would be nice to do that because of the way they finished the season. They've been off for a week after playing 2 games a week.
Right.
And you want to keep guys fresh and game ready and all those different things.
Exactly.
And I guess the way the tournament goes, they would play again Thursday night.
Next weekend, yes.
It's next
I think
Sunday.
it's next. Oh, so there's a week off then, another week. Well, then that's not as much of a factor. Final seconds counting down. But the Wildcats with 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of this one. And we go to the locker room for the halftime break, and Kentucky leads Santa Clara 2-0. Peyton, you couldn't have asked for a better start for the Cats.
Yeah, we saw 4 to 5 corner kicks early on in the half, and Kentucky scoring 2 of them off the heads of Rodriguez and Meinzer. Kentucky going into the locker room with a comfortable 2-0 lead, but Santa Clara going to come out and try and get some attacking chances here on this Kentucky side.
All right, so there you see Luca Rodriguez, his 4th. Marcel Meinzer gets his 2nd. And they both came off the foot of that young man, Mason Visconti. A little twofer. And the Wildcats lead by 2 at the break. Second round of the men's NCAA soccer championship here in Lexington. And the 9th-seeded Kentucky Wildcats with a 2-0 home pitch lead over the Broncos of Santa Clara. Dave Baker alongside a couple of Wildcat greats, Peyton Atkins and the great Ame Mabika, who is here with us after his first season at Inter Miami. And Peyton, let's go ahead and take a look at the first half highlights.
Yeah, 2 goals for the Wildcats off of 2 corner kicks by Mason Visconti, who we've spoken so much about this first half. That first goal off the head of Luca Rodriguez to start things off for the Wildcats. And then not much time passed before the Wildcats got another corner kick that was finished off the head of the captain, Marcel Meinzer.
Visconti gets both assists. Meinzer again got the equalizer in the championship game of the CUSA tournament. And there you see the numbers. And Ame, you talked about this Kentucky defense a lot, which you were so much a part of. They've not given up a shot on goal tonight.
Like I said, they take so much pride in that. And, you know, if they win this game 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, however many goals they score,
And, of course, here's the bracket. Santa Clara on Thursday night went to Akron and beat the Zips 2-1. Grand Canyon lost to Denver. Denver now, they call this the Clemson bracket because Clemson is the highest seeded team. And I think Ame told me a second, 0-0 at the half?
0-0.
Denver and Clemson 0-0 at the half. And you see the Wildcats who are ready to go and still have a lot of energy. And that's exactly what you want to see, even though they come out and they find themselves leading 2-0. And you look at Johan Sedegren's face, if they were up 4-0, he would look like they were down 4-0.
Exactly. Yeah, for them, for Johan at halftime, he's telling the guys, keep doing what you're doing. You know, don't get complacent. Don't think this game is done. You know, people always say, oh, it's 0-0 second half because, you know, in soccer, the game can turn on its head in a couple minutes. And, you know, they say 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in soccer. So for Santa Clara as well, you know, it's desperation moments here. 45 minutes, you know, there's going to be seniors on the team, you know, that don't want their college career to end quite yet. So they're gonna push for a goal here.
Peyton, as you said, Santa Clara has come back from big deficits before.
And I think we've seen their attacking style of play being pretty direct.
Just looking over the pitch ever so briefly. Looks like the Wildcats gone back to their starting 11. Nice touch there by Duran, who gets it back to Bravo. It appears that at least on this first possession, Santa Clara trying to get back to some semblance of shape, and then a giveaway right there. Nice delivery from Meinzer to the far side. Here's Visconti. Tried to go over the top to Bjorgelsen. Nice play by Gutman to keep it in. Rodriguez with a head of steam now. That truck wasn't going to be stopped. Rodriguez with that first goal off the corner. Meinzer with a second.
This first 10 minutes is going to be very important, you know, for both teams. For Santa Clara, this next 10 minutes, the game could change for them with a goal here, and for Kentucky, if they score and make it 3-0, it's going to be tough for Santa Clara to get back in the game. So both teams will be looking to establish domination as early as possible. For Kentucky, obviously winning 2-0, they don't quite need a goal, so they have the advantage in the fact that they can afford to be a little bit more safe. But for Santa Clara, like I said before, they have to push on for a goal and corner right away for them. And these are big moments for them as well. Kentucky scored off 2 set pieces, and they haven't had as many goals on target, as many shots on target. And Santa Clara hasn't either. So if you can steal a goal in moments like these, sets you up very nicely.
This will be Santa Clara's just second corner. It's Javier Ruiz Duran who takes it. Left foot swinging toward the goal mouth. And Hoffelner tracked it, hauled it in easily. A little chirping right there.
I think we've seen a change in energy for Santa Clara so far. They've definitely come out in the second half on the front foot, putting a little bit more pressure on Kentucky.
Well, that just doesn't look like much to the naked eye right there, but that is just so nice.
Exactly.
To go ahead and get some rhythm going, change the field. And now a nice defensive stand by Santa Clara as they take it back.
Talked about the transfers in the first half, with the transfers and the guys that have been on the team, Marcel Meinzer, Bailey Rouse, Robert Screen, and Luis Grasso, and Huffen. Experience is going to be big in games like this. As you can see here, just a little time wasting. It's not much. Santa Clara is going to get a little bit testy. Just bleed the clock a little bit. You're not being conservative or anything, but it's just managing the game. And with the 2 center mids, the 2 captains, they're going to do that very well. The back line's going to do that very well. And like I said, 2-0, you have a big advantage, because as long as you don't get scored on here, you're going to win. So.
And Amay, in a situation like this, does Johan tell the guys, to pull those lines back a little bit and not press so much up top? Or with a veteran team like this, is that just something that they know instinctively?
Yeah, it's kind of player-led. I don't think you're going to do that with, there's plenty of time left in the game. So you don't want to do that right now. You still want to impose your style. As you can see here, moving the ball in the Santa Clara half. So you're not going to do that from the coach. I think that organically happens a little bit as the game goes on, maybe with 15 minutes left. The guys might, protect the lead a little bit more. But, start the second half. It doesn't look like they're playing any different, which will be very important for them. This game, if they want, can end 3-4-0. As long as, they keep doing the things that they've been doing.
Gutman looks to center at the top. And that ball blown just wide by Luke Andrews, who couldn't get it squared up.
Here's a look at the cross by Gutman. He picks out Andrews. Andrews takes a touch around his defender and tries to shoot that himself. I don't think he really had the angle for that. It was going to be tough to get his body around it, but another shot for Kentucky.
Gutman with a nice step in. And that enabled Rodriguez to come the other way. Look at Gutman hustling on the near sideline. Really well put together run by the Wildcats. Don't have anything to show for it, but you love to see runs like that happen, because it tells you that you're not just out there kicking it around, but trying to place it with a purpose.
More so on the left and the right, but Kentucky has gotten a lot of joy in the wide areas, especially with Visconti. And as you can see, it's okay to get numbers in the wide areas, but all the time they have 3-4 guys in the box. And as a defender, you know, you get quite nervous when you have guys unmarked in the box. And I think if they're going to get a goal, it will come from one of these wide areas where, you know, with Björgefsen and Andrews, you know, attacking the box and Visconti crossing and screening on this right side. I think it's a great avenue for them to keep creating chances.
Just about 8 minutes gone in this second half of play. All the action coming in the first 10 minutes. Mason Visconti delivered 2 perfect corners. The first to Luca Rodriguez, the second to Marcel Meinzer. Kentucky has made that 2-0 lead stand up as that's Gutman who's down on the pitch.
Here's a look back on the play. It looks like Gutman trying to go in on the tackle. It looks kind of like he just fell a little bit awkwardly.
Got kind of twisted up right there. It didn't look like there was any contact from Karunda. And certainly Kentucky looking to press as well, because you got to believe that fatigue has the potential to come into play for Santa Clara. Again, they had to fly all the way across country. They beat Akron in 2 overtimes on Thursday night, then bust down here to Lexington. Got here Friday evening and had yesterday to train before tonight's second round match.
If you watch Björgefsen, Andrews, and then down to Rouse and Meinzer as well, you know, the back four and the goalkeeper get a lot of credit for these clean sheets. But if you see how hard these guys work,
they do.
You know, for Santa Clara, it's hard for them to even cross midfield because, you know, it's tireless work. Björgefsen there chasing the next ball, and then it's chasing again. And, you know, it's a team effort, you know, the clean sheets this season.
Yeah.
Defensively, you know, and playing for Kentucky, you know, that's demanded of you. You know, everyone has to work hard. It's a real togetherness. It's not just for yourself. You know that you're working, you know, unselfishly, and then from then on, you get your reward.
Here comes Gutman. And he's fouled on the play by Barajas. You know, man, I know you guys do. Peyton has been helping me on this. It's static stretching, and then what's the other one?
Dynamic.
Dynamic stretching. Okay. So I know you guys do all that stuff. I don't know what any of it means. But I'm telling you, for my money, I believe that Marcel Meinzer is one of the most flexible people I've ever seen. Because every time he runs down the field, it's like he can make his hips go in 2 different directions.
Right.
I mean, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you've got to be just incredibly flexible. You think I'm crazy, don't you? I mean, have you ever noticed him when he runs? It looks like he's like a praying mantis. I mean, the legs go in different directions. Watch him.
You can't teach that, can you?
No! Not going to get that out of some hot yoga class. Really nice delivery. They've got Wheeler on the far side, right at the top of the box. Right back it goes. Andrews. Wheeler again. That's a beautiful chip. Might have been a little push off right there. I believe that was Maurice who was on the back post and might have created some space, which the Santa Clara bench is asking about now. Really not much of a fuss at all from either bench about the officiating tonight from Nicholas Balser and his crew. Rodriguez right there.
You know, in the formation that Santa Clara is in a back 5, a lot of the opportunities that we're going to get are going to come from out wide with the wing backs, which I'm surprised they haven't used as much.
Okay.
As they get a chance here. You're defending Visconti again. You know, they're going to have overloads in the wide areas, and I think for them, Kentucky's kind of beat them at their own game, and getting the ball wide and getting crosses into the box and playing for second balls. I think if they do that, they're going to be able to create a little bit more chances, especially in playing against a great defensive team like Kentucky. Maybe you're not able to break them down, but if you get the ball wide and get crosses into the box, create a little bit of commotion, I think they'll benefit greatly from that. 10 minutes into the game, 13 minutes past, haven't really created many chances. So it's a little desperate times, I think, with 30 minutes left. And for Kentucky, they're going to be happy with how this game is going. They've created a couple chances already and seem to have picked up right where they left off.
Lopez Perez.
Santa Clara switching from like a 3-back to a 5-back in transition. Like you said, I think they can sit in that 3-back and weather the storm and bring some more players into their attack. Against Kentucky, they're going to create some more chances.
Boy, what a nice back heel there by Visconti.
He has had a night so far.
That's better from Santa Clara. Like I said, get the ball wide. If you don't win the first ball, play for seconds and make opportunities. Right now, you have to take what you can get. Chances are obviously not coming very easy for them. And eventually, you could see the coaching staff maybe switch formations here and get a little bit more attacking. The season's on the line with 30 minutes left.
So maybe as we watch the Wildcats with this 2-0 lead, kind of give us your big picture of what year number one as a professional was like.
I think it's a learning experience. I think rookie season is the same everywhere. First year doing anything is going to be a lot of peaks and valleys, and coming in, maybe expectations are high, and maybe things don't go the way that you predicted. And for me, coming in, I won these games right away, and maybe needed a little bit more time, and did that. And towards the end of the season, I was a little bit more ready to play in an MLS game, and doing that was big for me. To play at the end of the season and have something to take into the off season was very big for me. And being a professional soccer player is something I've wanted to do my whole life. So day in, day out, it's been a dream, and I have to remind myself every day, just having that gratitude and saying, okay, a million people would love to have the job that I have. So I really just try to enjoy every single day. And there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but it's really important just enjoying them all the same and getting better. For me, I think just taking the same steps I took at Kentucky, where my freshman season, I didn't play much, but by the time I left, I was able to establish myself as an important player on the team, and I'm hoping to do that, in year 2, year 3 as a professional soccer player, and that will come with hard work and, trusting the people at Miami. And I feel like I'm in a great spot to do that as long as I, stick to what I've been doing.
Biggest difference in the level of play that you found, not only in training but certainly in game action?
I think one big one is the competitiveness. I think when you're working with people, it's their livelihood. Like you come in and it's not, I just came from class and going to training or training. While you're at training, you're thinking about a test that you might have later in the day. This is people's livelihood. So, people are fighting for contracts, and you're able to see that, guys are fighting to be on the field, because if you're not on the field, you might lose your job. So I think the competitiveness there, and like going from high school to college, it's a big jump in all aspects of the game.
Here is a great chance out of almost nothing, it looks like, for the Wildcats. You see Andrews followed up on the shot there that was knocked out by Stauffer.
You know, I was like, what in the world is Bjorgelson doing? I was thinking, why would he be throwing his hand up for an offside? He's throwing his hand up because he thought it was a handball.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's the old you go until the whistle blows, right? Now things getting a little chippy between Andrews and Perez.
Here's a look back at the foul on Andrews.
Oh, I think Perez got up and went to push Andrews, and he got the other guy.
Yeah.
He got the wrong guy. Physically, though, you felt you were good this year, Ame?
I think it's definitely some adjusting too, because the game moves so fast. I think the level of fitness, I think for me, was a big difference. You know, getting used to how fast things go, you know, on the ball and off the ball.
Sure.
And as time goes on, obviously with everything, you know, you adjust and you get better. And obviously just finishing my rookie year, I still have a lot of work to do in all aspects of the game, whether technically or physically or mentally. And continuing to work on that will be very important for me to extend my career as long as possible.
Daniel Evans, Brock Lindau come in to replace Andrews and Bjorgelson.
Santa Clara as a defender, you know, you see two fresh guys who could start on many teams. You're thinking, man, it's gonna be a tough 25 minutes left. And here's Visconti again in the wide area, numbers in the box for Kentucky.
And I think that's credit to the buy-in for Kentucky as well. I mean, if you're a player on the bench and you know you can be starting at other programs, I mean, it's important to stay bought in to the vision of this team, and I think that proves to their success in having so many people come off the bench and create great chances and scoring opportunities, and that's why they've been successful.
Wildcats have made this 2-0 lead stand up since early in this one. So, May, time goes by so fast. You still finishing up degree stuff? Did you get it finished? Where are you in that whole process?
I actually graduated before I left.
I shouldn't be surprised at that.
Which I'm very excited about because there's a chance here.
Evans just couldn't control it.
Yeah, I actually graduated a month, I think, before the draft.
That is awesome.
To have that degree in my pocket is
and what was it in?
It's a great thing. I had an English degree with aspirations to go to law school.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I graduated, took the LSAT. You know, I have those two things in the back of my pocket.
Wow.
But hopefully I don't have to worry about that for a while.
This will be a dangerous opportunity for Santa Clara right outside the box. So look back. It looks like they called a foul on Rodriguez there.
Yes, it was after the pass, as it looked like he clipped Karunda. So as a defender, what are you thinking about here, Ame?
I think the biggest thing here is concentration. Concentration. You're telling yourself as the game winds down, this is right around the time you start getting tired, and mistakes happen right around this time. So you're just telling yourself, concentrate.
But Rajas faked the kick, and they go to the left footer.
Because here it's just 24 minutes to win the game, so you give everything you have physically and mentally. And these are the situations we talked about Santa Clara, you know, putting balls into the box and second balls, and you can probably see this happening for the last 23 minutes.
There's contact with the keeper. Situations like this, I always think it's kind of like basketball rebound. It's not just the shot,
exactly,
but it's that deflection in the second shot.
Exactly.
Here's a look back. Long ball toward the back post for Santa Clara. You saw Hofflner go up for that, and there was a contact by Ruiz Duran. Referee called a foul, and it's going to be a free kick for Kentucky.
I think I saw you down at Khalil here as well.
Khalil is here as
Well,
well.
Medcar, he's playing still, right?
He's playing at FC Dallas. Also had a good rookie season at Dallas. Same thing for him, learning experience, getting used to the level of play. And it's great when you can get guys back on campus.
Yes.
Just talking to the guys, we're excited to see us. We're excited to see the team and the coaching staff. For me, I'm from Lexington, so this is naturally home. And for guys like Khalil and Enrique Facuso was here not too long ago.
Enrique spent a few minutes up here in the booth with us.
Yeah, so when guys come back on campus, when you go to Kentucky, it feels like home. So it's a great testament to the program, for guys to want to come back and spend time in and around the program. And it's a huge testament to what Johan has done in turning this program around. So.
He's done it the right way. I mean, he immediately started having success, but it's one thing to have that flash of success.
Right.
It's being able to maintain it and improve upon it.
That's the hardest thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you brought up a great point. The recruiting's always been really good, but I think they took another step forward this year with the way they handled the transfer portal.
Exactly.
Great 1v1 defending over there in the corner by Visconti.
You can see Santa Clara keeping a little bit more numbers forward here. They know with 21 minutes, you're forced to do it. And we spoke about earlier where organically it'll happen where, Kentucky maybe might not press as much. But you see here, they're moving their line still with Denny Evans and Brock Lindell. That's what you get when you bring on fresh subs. Well, they have plenty of energy, so they will run for you.
Each team has played 5 substitutes tonight.
It really does start from the front, doesn't it, Peyton?
Definitely.
The defending, obviously they have great central defenders and great fullbacks, but if you see the midfielders and the forwards, how hard they work, it's very impressive. And as a defender, you love that. It makes it so much easier when your midfielders and your forwards are putting pressure on the ball, because what that does is it gets the guy on the ball, it gets his head down, so the pass that he ends up playing maybe is not as good as if he had time and space on the ball. And that's sort of the Kentucky way. Everyone works hard, and if you don't work hard, you won't play. Right. It's that simple. It doesn't matter how good you are. Johan Sedergren on the first day of preseason says if you don't work hard, you won't play. And it's their motto. You run together, you battle together, and then you play. And they've done it all season. They've done it this game. They scored on 2 set pieces, and defensively have been very, very sound on all 3 levels of the game.
Santa Clara with just 3 shots. They do not have a shot on goal.
And I think we can tell their natural tendency in their attack is to be pretty direct. And like you said, from that front line, getting the pressure on the ball, they have not gotten that much success threading those passes through the Kentucky back line.
You can hear Johan screaming for his back line to come out. Organically, it happens where you're protecting the lead, so you stay a little bit closer to your goal. But Sedergren, he wants his team to come out here, and it makes it easier for you rather than soaking in pressure. As good as the back line they have in goalkeeper, they're aware of playing where they like to press from the front. So he's screaming at the guys to get up and not set up a shell quite yet. Maybe you can do that the last 5 minutes, but you don't want to do that just yet, because like I said, a Santa Clara goal changes the game completely.
That whole back line has been so solid this year. We've talked a lot tonight about Rodriguez and Visconti, but Screen and Luis Grosso has just been, he's been a wall back there.
Great touch.
He has a chance.
Evans at the top, and he just shot it wide. Oh, he settled it real nicely. Got a good foot on it and just pushed it ever so slightly.
This was a great touch by Gutman to set it up. Takes it across his defender and finds Evans. And Evans hits it with his right foot, trying to curl it toward that back post.
Unlucky. Great first touch from Evans. Great finish. Just unlucky to miss just wide.
Clay Holstad checks back in for Gutman as we're now under 19 minutes to go. Wildcats looking to advance to the second round, or excuse me, the third round of the NCAA tournament. May, did you get any update on that Clemson score?
Looking now.
Brandon in the booth says they're in the 70th minute, still 0-0. Boy, you get down to PKs where you haven't done PKs all year, the proverbial anything can happen and usually does.
Exactly.
How much confidence would that give Kentucky? I mean, if the result stays like this and they're able to host a Sweet 16, they're unbeaten at home on the year.
Didn't that happen to you guys, May? One of those 2 years where you were a lower seed and somebody above you got beat. You got another home game.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it today already with some of the results. How important it is to just take care of the game.
Holstad got it, squared it up, and it just sailed high. Boy, those are some, for a team that struggled so much offensively through the middle part of the season, these guys have really squared some up tonight.
Here's a look. Ball comes across the Holstad. He hits it great with his right foot. I like the decision to hit that from distance. We haven't seen a lot of those shots tonight.
That was a screamer. And here's a chance. Meinzer lost it.
Great defending. And as you can see, the Kentucky Wildcats here, everyone behind the ball, protecting the lead. Don't want to give up a goal. It's been all year. It's a pride thing. It's a pride thing for me. You know, whether you're up 3-0, 4-0, you don't want to give up a goal. And, you know, that's a habit. And as you get in the NCAA tournament, you're not going to win games 5-0, 4-0. You're going to win a lot of these games 1-0 and 2-0. So if you don't give up a goal, you're going to give yourself a great chance.
Hoffler handles it. He will take some time.
Gives the game management for the fifth-year senior. Going to take a couple seconds. Maybe wait for the referee to say something to him first.
Hoffler, one of those transfers we talked about from St. John's. That's a nice ball. Rodriguez takes care of it. Not sure what Screen was thinking if he thought somebody was behind him. But he let that one go through.
That's another missed transition moment for Santa Clara. You saw a 3v3, but Kentucky works so hard to get back into position that it makes it very, very, very hard.
Great takeaway by Sarita before the Broncos get it back.
I think Santa Clara with just a couple too many touches.
I think their gas tank is really starting to get low. It may not be empty, but I think the warning light's on. Karunda didn't let it go. And Lindau able to get ahead on it and allow Evans to get just enough before he's fouled. That's the 11th foul of the night against the Broncos. And Johan Sedergren still up and coaching like he's down 2 instead of up 2. I don't know whether Meinzer has got some blood or something, but Gutman is set to check in, but they're saying if they do it, somebody has to check in for Meinzer. I guess they're going to go ahead and do that. But the referee was the one that said that Meinzer had to come out. Holstad, nice feed to Evans. That's going to be a card on Danny Evans. He got that ball taken away. Then he pulled. He says at 10 or 11, it's 11. He pulled Barajas to him and buckled his knee a little bit. It wasn't dirty, it was more of a reaction, but here it is.
Here's a look back at the challenge.
And then you see Evans just pulling.
Yep.
And then got him on the back of the calf. Shout out to the Wildcat grounds crew tonight. This pitch has held up pretty well for this day-long rain that we had in Lexington, which stopped. I want to say the rain probably stopped about the time those two corner kicks happened.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Rouse. Gutman. Blocked by the defender. Nicely fouled.
Here's a transition moment for Santa Clara.
That was Julian Bravo.
Like we said before, they're kind of just pulling it back during those moments. That's a great ball to switch the point.
Visconti's back there, though. Nice play by Hoffelner. Duran tried to get it ahead to Thomas.
I know we've said it plenty of times today throughout the whole game, but how good has Visconti been? Besides just the 2 assists, I think for me the most impressive thing is a wide midfielder for how good he is defensively. He seems to be a natural over there. And it's they've gone to his side quite a bit, but he's held up really well.
I don't think he's lost one 1v1 battle tonight.
In these moments with 12 minutes left, this is where your seniors, your Bailey Rouses, your Marcel Meinzers, your fifth-year seniors and Hoffman are telling your team, everyone stay concentrated. Don't need anyone to be a hero in these moments. We're up 2-0. Just do all the basics correct, and we'll be moving on to the Sweet 16. With 12 minutes left here, it's just about protecting a lead, really. And for Santa Clara, as they open up, Kentucky, I think we'll be able to have 1 or 2 transition moments where they can put the game to bed, as long as they stay solid defensively.
Just want to make sure that you don't make that bad giveaway.
Exactly.
That can turn into points in a hurry. Might give one up, but if you do, make somebody work for it. Those of you following along, there you see that score there. Clemson and Denver still tied in the 79th minute. I'm told that Clemson has taken 18 shots to just 2 for Denver. But it looks like it might come down to those 5 shots on the PKs.
Holstad really bringing good energy. Both times he's come in and subbed for Kentucky.
He's one of those guys too as well, right? In the first half he came in as a wide midfielder, and then here in the second half he's come in as a center mid to kind of shore things up. He's a multifaceted player, good defensively, good on the ball. Has a chance. He's a very good player to have in the squad. So for Johan, you count on him. You can call upon him if he needs a job done. He's come in and slotted really well next to Bailey Rouse to close this game out.
Now as the time continues to tick, approaching 10 minutes, certainly enough time for Santa Clara to do something improbable. But I got to believe that the main thing you want to do here, if you're Johan Settergren, is you're about to the point now where it's like, let's just get out of here clean. Let's get out of here and make sure nothing happens to anybody. Cold night, wet pitch.
Here's one of those transition moments. You see it's a 4v3 where Santa Clara committed numbers forward.
Gutman to Bjorgelsen, and he had it poked right away. Wow. Excellent defensive play.
It's a good step by Grasso to read the passing lane there.
It's just that final pass for Kentucky. They're going to get chances here with Santa Clara pushing.
Boy, there was one. Boy, and I get a little concerned when I see that now. I saw Bjorgelsen seem limping a little bit out there right now. And he never had a problem with the leg. He was out for a long period of time with the concussion syndrome. And he may have just taken a bad step. I mean, who knows? But I guess what I'm saying is what I'm saying. Boy, and that was almost an own goal, right?
Yeah, it was off the Santa Clara defender. I think he was trying to cut off the pass to Bjorgelsen.
Near the end of this game, Ame, it looks like we're going to get a look at the guy you were talking about, Oliver Ewell.
Yeah, he's started to get the season fantastically, and unfortunately picked up an injury. And he did well in the games he did play, and with a team like Kentucky where you have so much depth, he's found it a little bit difficult to get back in the side. But for him, it'll just be important to stay bought in, keep training well. It does take a little bit, coming back from an injury, and hopefully for Kentucky they make a deep run and he's able to be involved. He's a very good player, very good player.
Ewell, a freshman from Rudkobing, Denmark, as we're under 8 minutes to play. Karunda.
As much as they can here, Santa Clara with 7.5 minutes left, they have to get the ball in the box as much as possible.
Right.
Try to get set pieces. Try to create anything you can in here. Second balls, ball bouncing around, get shots on target. A little desperate. Set third ball here. Get balls in the box.
Santa Clara has been limited to just 4 shots, 2 in each half. So as we mentioned, Oliver Ewell checking in for Kentucky. And Peyton, here's a look at how we got to this spot with the Wildcats leading 2-0.
Yeah, we've talked about it plenty of times. It was 2 great corner kicks from Visconti. The first off the head of Luca Rodriguez, the center back, and the second from the senior captain, Marcel Meinzer.
Rodriguez was a flip that was blind behind him. You just saw Meinzer just square it up and make a perfect placement on his. Both of those coming in the first 10 minutes of this game. And that has been it as far as the scoring.
It looks like Ewell will slot in as a left-sided midfielder. Now you have a left back playing left midfield, He's good on the ball, good offensively, but you also get that defensive prowess, extra defensive player on the field, and that'll help them close the game. And this is what I spoke about, 5 minutes left. That's where Settergren, will look to shore things up in the back. Don't necessarily need a goal here. Don't need a goal at all, actually. Kentucky's done a good job. Like I spoke about that before, where concentration. You can see they haven't given up shots on target. When you're playing against a team where they're sending numbers forward, they're desperate, their season's on the line, it gets difficult to defend because it seems like you're outnumbered.
Boy, and despite that, Johan Sedergren not taking anything for granted.
You never can.
About 5 minutes left to play, and it looks like Marcel Meinzer is trying to check back in.
Coming up on 5 minutes left to go, you can see the desperation from Santa Clara.
Bjorgelsen was open in the center of the pitch, but Andrews couldn't get it to him. And now Sarita, who's been very solid in there tonight. Here comes Meinzer in, and that'll be the night for Bailey Rouse.
Fantastic game for Bailey Rouse.
Oh.
You can see his jersey. It's covered in grass, and he's very important for this system. He works so hard, so unselfishly. He does everything that's needed for the team, whether it's making tackles or being a good leader. And he's someone that Johan Sedergren counts on, and is.
I guess they didn't want him out yet because I think that Meinzer was supposed to go in for Holstad because Rouse went right back in.
Makes sense.
First, I thought that was a strategy to keep subbing to waste time.
Oh, what a great hustle play. Bjorgelsen! And that one went just wide. That was Ewell, I believe. But Bjorgelsen played through the contact. Look at this right here. And then look at this delivery.
It's a great ball. Across the pitch to Ewell. Hits it first time with his left foot. And that just skims wide of the goal.
Looked like the defender got just a piece, Peyton.
Yep.
See the ball reach. You can see the desperation.
Looks like the ball was moving, so has to retake that goal kick.
And that will take up all the time that they were trying to save.
Here's a look back at the corner. Another great delivery. It was punched out by Stauffer.
Here's where your leaders, your Bailey Rouses, Marcel Mines, just organizing. You can see Bailey Rouse here putting guys where they need to be. You don't want panic stations in this situation. You just want to stay organized, as calm as possible. And they deal with that very, very, very well. And then again here, organizing, moving the team up. You can hear Johan Sedergren pushing his team forward. And that's what you get from him all season long. That's what you get from him. Just a sense of calmness, comes in for crosses, takes a lot of pressure off his team.
And that's going to be a foul against the Broncos. Thomas guilty of that foul. There you see Clemson and Denver still scoreless in the 87th minute. If Clemson wins, they would host the winner of this one, which the Wildcats are 2 minutes away from being that team. If Clemson were to lose at home, then it would be a Sweet 16 game for the Wildcats here at the Bell 1 week from today. Oh, right in the side.
Kentucky's still pressing high.
Yes, they are.
Less than 2 minutes to go.
talked about, not we talked about maintaining the success of the program, and with a minute 30 here and a win for Kentucky, this would be the third Sweet 16 appearance in the last 4 years.
Right.
And that's very important for Johan Sedergren. Building a program, it takes more than 1 year. As the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. And as you can see now, Kentucky has become a program who consistently makes Sweet 16s, consistently wins trophies, and it's kind of the vision that Johan Sedergren had when he first took over is coming to fruition. I think now for them, the next step is just continuing to make deep runs into the tournament. And, with a team like this, anything is possible for them this season. I think they have a makeup of a championship team. It'll just, in the NCAA tournament, you need a little bit of luck.
Sure.
And, you need the ball to bounce your way a little bit, results to go your way. And it's one game at a time for them. It looks like they're going to win this one. And no matter who they play, whether they're going to South Carolina or next weekend they're staying here for a game, they just have to play whoever is in front of them. And here's a chance here. His delivery can be good. Here's the chances we talked about before.
Boot it out.
That was a great save by Stauffer.
And let's not forget about Santa Clara, folks. I mean, 1989, they won a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
They had a tough task. They went and they won on the road. And then they came here as part of that cross-country road trip. They'll finish the year at 12-1-5. But the Wildcats win for the 16th time. Check that, the 15th time in 19 games. They remain unbeaten at home. And Kentucky moves on to the third round of the men's soccer championship with a 2-0 win over Santa Clara.
These are special moments. I'm getting chills just sitting up here. The guys are enjoying it. And, these are games that you think about 5-10 years later. I remember, just talking to Khalil earlier today, and we wouldn't stop talking about the Portland game in 2018, the Lipscomb game.
Oh, yeah.
NCAA games, they are special, and you don't forget them. And if you can win, it's a great win.
E é isso, galera. Vitória de Kentucky, como os comentaristas estavam mostrando e vai mostrar agora. Kentucky agora está esperando o vencedor de Clemson com Denver. E, além disso, eles vão descobrir se eles vão jogar a próxima rodada em casa ou fora. Se Clemson passar, Clemson está melhor ranqueado, então eles vão jogar fora de casa. Se Denver passar, eles jogam contra Denver em casa. Lembrando que eu tinha falado antes, Denver também tem brasileiro. Tem o Lucas Russo, número 2 de Denver, que é brasileiro. Então, caso Denver passar, semana que vem a gente tem um confronto de brasileiros. Denver, na rodada passada, passou nos pênaltis, então eles estão bem acostumados. O goleiro pegou, acho que 2 penalidades. Pode ser que esse jogo vá para os pênaltis e Denver tenha essa certa vantagem. O jogo já foi para o overtime, então a gente vai conhecer o adversário de Kentucky daqui a alguns minutos, e aí eu solto lá na Team Brazucas. Valeu, galera. Boa noite para todo mundo. Abraço aí para a família do Luca, Marcos, Simone, que estavam acompanhando aqui. Parabéns aí pro Luca também. E vamos continuar acompanhando. Próxima rodada tem Kentucky de novo. Valeu para todo mundo. Boa noite.